So yeah, today we'll be talking about advanced prompt engineering, which is not new to I think everyone that is here for now. I think Gottlieb, you are familiar with this prompt engineering, and today we want to I want to take you through on how you can master prompt engineering. Rebecca is having an issue. I think she's not using Microsoft. She's not using Google Chrome. So we can continue. Okay, so today we'll emphasize on prompt engineering. Oh, there she's back, but at an advanced level. Hello, Rebecca, can you hear us? Rebecca, are you there? Okay, that's good. That's good. So we'll be talking about prompting, which is prompt engineering. In this case, it's actually a very important aspect of our program, because basically it's what you'll be doing mostly when you need to interact with AI. Is basically through prompting. So today we are going to master the skills of prompting, so we can actually get the best output from any AI we use that we can interact with. So today we'll talk about prompting. Prompting is actually just prompt. Let me just say a prompt is just actually an input. Let me just emphasize what this is. It's just an input that you put, that you actually insert into or input into an AI model so that you can get an output. So that input, it can be in a form of a question or in a form of instruction or in a form of a context or an example or so many, or data set or a lot of ways. So it can also be in the input, it can also be in a format, which means it can be in a format of an image or in a format of a voice or in a format of a data set or in a format of a code. So it can also differ the way, like if you are trying to interact with Google or Gemini, sometimes you can just use your voice mostly. You can just say, hey, Google, and all sort of things. So it can be in a different format, but all these are inputs that you actually have to input into an AI model for you to get the best output. But for you to do that, for you to get the best output, you don't just you don't just uh, you don't just come up with an input. Like you need to you need to master the way you can prompt. You don't just come up with any prompt and then you think you can get the best output, because these are machines, these are computers. They are not like human. They don't really 100% understand the way we think most of the time. So that's why you need to master the way you can interact with these computers, with these AI models. So for you to master it, you need to look at the types of let me say we need to look at the way we prompt. Okay. So when it comes to prompting, I think there are 6 ways of prompting. I mean, let me just say 6 components that you need, or objectives, when you're prompting. So most of the time, let me say for day-to-day use, I see many people using the 0-shot or few-shot prompting, which is mostly effective for most of the things you need. So this is the most common one. And we have another one which is called role-playing prompt. And then we have a chain of thought, and we also do structured output. And then we also do ethical prompting and iterative refinement. Basically, just you going to an AI model and telling it, giving it instruction or asking it a question, what is A and B, and all that. It's either it can be in a form of a voice, or it can be a form of an image, of a math. You can just take a picture. Sometimes you can just take a picture, maybe of a math question or a math problem. Then you just upload it. So it's basically it can be a form of many ways you can interact with it. So for you to get the desired output. So this is actually prompt engineering. So it's a science of designing those input to get the best possible results. So it's actually designed for you to get the best possible results. Why am I saying the best possible results? Because an AI model can give you what you actually put into it. So if you put rubbish in it, you get rubbish. If you ask it if you ask it in a way that it understands it, you can actually get the best output from it. So I want to ask some questions just a bit before I continue. If anyone is lost or we are on the same page here. Are we on the same page? Are we on the same page? So you guys, you are familiar when you are using your LLMs, which it can be Croc, can be Gemini. When you go into their interface, how do you interact with them? How do you guys interact with your LLMs? What is the how do you interact to get the best output from your LLMs, and in what format? Do you guys just ask it random question, or you guys just you also practice this prompt engineering components that I was talking about? Is anybody familiar with the prompt engineering? It doesn't need to be accurate, just for you to tell us, like, how do you interact with your LLMs, or how do you interact with ChatGPT or Gemini and all that. Rebecca? Guys, let's talk to each other. This is a class where we are free to express anything, ask questions. Yes, Rebecca? Okay, I think we can just continue. So yes, I was talking about how do we interact with the LLMs. So let me just quickly show a simple example as we are also going along. So I'm quickly going to share with you an interface. So you guys, you can see the interface of Gemini, is it? So this is an LLM. So the way you can interact with this is actually by, you can have an input here. So you can have an input which can be just normal text. So you ask it to do things like write a story. So this is also prompting. So you are actually prompting. Or you can upload a file, you can upload a photo. So I can upload a photo and ask it, maybe the photo is somebody in the background. So you can ask AI, remove the person in the background. So this is actually you still interacting, or let me say, this is still prompt engineering. You are still prompting. So you can ask it to create music, write anything, or you can use the microphone. So when you use the microphone to talk to it, still prompting. So it's still going to use natural language processing, which is still going to convert it into text, which is still going to process later on. But this is still prompt. This is still prompt engineering. So we are prompting. We are asking an AI model to do something for us, or we are giving an AI model an instruction, or we are asking a question. Just a simple question, or we ask it to generate an image. So this is all part of prompting. So I hope we are all together. Okay? Okay. So it's good you can hear me, as long as you are even if you are struggling with the network, yeah, as long as you can hear me, then it's fine. So yeah, let's continue. Can just continue with it. So just like you can have a text. Your prompt can have a text, or it can be a code, or you can use voice commands and all that. So, but it has to go through an AI model. It has to go through an AI model. After the AI model is processed your input, and then it generates a response, which is an output. So the result of the response depends on how you prompt it, or depends on the AI model capabilities. You can have an output that sometimes it can be text, or it can be code, or it can be a translation, or it can be an image and all that. So this is what actually happens. These are the 3 steps that actually happens when you are actually doing your competition when it comes to AI model, when you're interacting with your AI models. So let's go a bit more into details. Let's talk about zero-shot prompting. This is, I think, the most common one that we use. So this is basically just you not giving example, no whatsoever, just you asking AI with a description what you want it to do for you. So it will do things, but it will rely on the training that it has done, like its own understanding. So this is just you asking AI, maybe write a simple reply text to my email, which is it can be a lot of things, just simple things that you do. Can be you asking it prompt a simple question like answer a math question and all that. So this is send you describing that math scenario or that math problem, just you giving it a description. So this is just zero shot, just simple one. So we have another one which is called a fusion prompting. So basically you just provide 2 or 5 examples showing the pattern to AI, and then the AI doesn't have to rely on its own training. So you already gave the AI a scenario, something that like a pattern where it can learn from to be able to solve your problem. So you can, for example, you can say A plus B is equal to 2 and B plus C is equal to 5. Then you can ask the AI to find C or to find B. So it already knows the scenario. You already gave it a scenario or a pattern that to be able to learn from and then be able to give you an answer. Are we together? Are we together? Okay, let's move on to the other one, which is called, just make things step by step, which is called chain of thought. So this is zero shot, and then we have chain of thought. A chain of thought is a bit not your basic usual way of doing things. It's actually giving AI commands on how to do things step by step. So if you want AI to create a website, you ask AI to start creating the home page. Maybe you ask AI to start creating the branding. First, maybe the branding, the logo of your website. And then later, when it's done with this task, and then it can go ahead and create the home page. When it's done with the home page, you ask that, it's like you ask AI specific task to do it accordingly, not like if this step is finished, move to the other one. So this is called chain of thoughts. Chain of thoughts. So without chain of thought, they've given us a scenario here. So without a chain of thought, so if you use an LLM and you prompt, for example, a Namibian farmer sells 48 kg of maize at $12 per kg. He spends $3,200 on transport, and then ask it for profit. It will calculate it differently. So it might multiply this. It might not even follow the, how can I say it? It might not even follow the body mass, which is the law of, it's a law in mathematics when it comes to calculation, which is basically brackets or division and all sort of things. But if you prompt with a chain of thought, you just give your prompt, a Namibian farmer sells 48 kg of maize at $12 per kg. He spends 320 on transport. What is the profit? And then you still continue and say, let's think step by step. Then AI will think step by step. If you tell AI straight, it will calculate it straight. But if you just maybe insert this one command, you ask it to do it step by step, AI will do it step by step to calculate it, and then it will get the answer. But the answer might be this. Sometimes you can get the answer right, but when it comes to solving logics and problems, sometimes it might get it very wrong. So that is called chain of thoughts. And then we move on to the other one, which is called a role-playing prompt. And this one is very important when you are prompting, especially when you are creating something that will have an audience. So when you are prompting, you must give the AI a persona. You must give an AI a personality. If you want an AI to do a research paper, maybe in a topic, let me say in a topic in mathematics or in a topic in agriculture, maybe a research paper in agriculture. When you are prompting, you must tell the AI that you are an expert in agriculture and what. That is the AI persona. So that is the persona of the AI. I must say, like the personality. You are already giving power to the AI model to act already as a professional. When you give it that persona, it does things very well than just you assuming just AI will know everything. So if you say you are, for example, if you wanted to create a website or a software, you say you are a higher expert in software development, or you are a king of coding. It just make it feel good, make it feel like it's on top. Yeah. Make it feel like it knows everything about that certain topic that you are talking about. So as long as it has a persona, it will have a role. It will know already which role it will need to play. So if you already gave it a persona and it already have what is it? It already have an expertise in what it's going to do. And then what you also need to add is the audience. Who are the audience? Who is going to receive? Who is going to be the end user of what you are building? If you are building a website, you tell the AI that this website is going to be used by students. These are going to be your audience, so that the English and the grammar and everything that is going to use is easy for for students to understand. Or if this platform that you AI are building is going to be used by children, and then it should be able to build things that children will be easily able to interact with it easily. So you can also give it what is called a tone. This is all part of a persona. So if you give it a tone, it will actually, how can I say it? This is basically for people that are doing writing and all that. So if you give it a tone, if you want it to sound exciting, you want it to sound convincing and all that, AI will also do that for you. And it's very important for you to give it a tone. So that's why you write something, and then at the end of the day, everything sounds very AI. And then when the teacher will read it, will automatically know that the things you created is not actually you. Because they can't see any persona in it. Because AI doesn't have a persona to just create things. So you didn't give it a persona. They'll automatically know this is coming from AI. So you didn't give it any audience. The audience, maybe it's for your lecturer, maybe it's a research paper or anything that you are writing for your lecturers. And then your audience is a lecturer. And then the way you are writing things is like you are writing things for your fellow students, or you're writing things for maybe computer scientists or something. And your tone as well, very important. So let's look at some few scenarios here. There's an example they gave us of a Namibian developer. So the prompt is actually very good. It's like, act as an experienced Namibian software developer. Very specific, Namibian. Why is he saying Namibian? The audience are going to be Namibians. And they are saying experienced software developer. That is your role. That is your persona. That is a persona. And then once you have these ones, you get good results when you're prompting. So once it has a persona, it will already know what to do. And then they have another one here, which is for a Python teacher. So this one is a prompt that they're saying act, because obviously AI is not a Python teacher. So you can say act as patient Python tutor. So patient, very specific Python tutor. So this is the persona. It's very important for you to give it a persona. So it plays, it's actually called the role-playing prompt. So when you're prompting, there must be somebody playing the role, okay? It's very, very important for you to have a persona. So whatever that you are prompting that requires role-playing prompt, especially, let me just say, especially in writing, is very important for you to use role-playing prompts. Very important. Okay, so moment. Let me just see if we are all together. Are we all together? Are we all there? Are we all following? Are we all following? You can just raise a hand. Katile, are you there? Okay, we can move on. We can move on to the next one. Okay, the next one is actually called structured output. And the other one is iterative. Sorry. So this structured output is actually telling AI exactly what format you want in what format you want the output to be. So if you want the output to be a document, it has to be a document. In what format? Is it in Word or in PDF? And I believe most of the LLMs now can be able to generate PDF and Word documents. I believe ChatGPT was the first one that was able to generate PDFs and Word documents, but I think most of them can be able to generate now. So you can ask it, if you are generating an image, you can also ask it the output. It has to be in JPEG or PNG files. So that can be the format. I can say you can just specify if you want the output to be an image, or you want the output to be a document, or the output to be an audio, just like that, or the output to be a video. That is that's what's called structured outputs. So it's either you want it to be also a database set that you can integrate into a database app, or you can actually do what is called iterative refinement, which is actually you having the prompt, writing the prompt, you run it, you check the output and check if it's accurate, if it's in the right format, if it's ethical, and you check what is missing, and you find out everything. Then you start to add context, constraints, example, and then you start adding personas, and then you keep changing, doing the changes until the output is usable. And this process is basically time consuming, and it also wastes a lot of credits. Remember, with AI, every request, it's worth so we go to our I think sixth component, which is called ethical prompting. Ethical prompt, because AI is not actually perfect. So AI is biased. So when you are prompting, you must be very descriptive of what you're actually looking for. Because if you don't tell it the currency, AI might be able to use the currency in which the AI data it was trained in. If it was trained by the Americans, it will use US dollars. If it was trained by the Chinese, it's more likely to use the Chinese currency. So it might be more biased as well when it comes to, let me say, religious, or when it comes to culture, because it doesn't understand everyone's culture. It understands the culture of the data that it was trained into. So it might not understand what is appropriate to say. It might include or it might include something that is not appropriate to say in our cultures. It might include it in your documents. So you have to specify, you have to avoid bias. In this example, if you ask AI what are the common problems with African governments, but it will be more general. But if you, like, for example, it will be more general because we not describe, because African has a lot of different governance. Some have kingdoms, some have what. So you are more general. So you are giving room for AI to be biased already. So instead, you can just ask what challenges does the Namibian municipal government face in water delivery? So this is very specific. So you want to find out about water delivery. So very specific. So if you gave it the room to find out about the challenges does the Namibian municipal government face, it would have included a lot of things. So there's the other point is privacy and data. So we always, if you are using AI, don't use your ID number, don't use your personal information. Don't put your personal information. Use dummy data. If you are generating a letter and you want the name of somebody to be there, use a name that is not real, or use if there's an ID number or whatever, use something that is, let me say, is dummy, so that when you are done, then you can edit in real information. So you don't have to risk leaking information into this AI. Sometimes this AI is trained from the data that you are putting. Sometimes when you prompt or you upload information, it gets retrained from that data. So when somebody from other countries is going to write maybe a letter, it might use your information as an example. It might use your ID number and everything. So you never know what can happen. There are different LLM models, there are securities, claims, and all that, but there will be more coming. So there will be a high risk of a lot of data leaks and all that. So originality and citation. So whenever you are using AI, please, if you are using an image that was generated by AI, you should always caption it, or you should always cite it as generated with AI. I think you guys have seen most of the things that are on TikTok now. First, when TikTok came, you can actually generate things with AI and post them, and people will get confused. But I think nowadays, when you generate something with AI, TikTok will put a caption there to say AI generated content, which is to show the originality of where is it coming from. And when you're writing an assignment or an exam, and then you are using, is it Perplexity or you are using Gemini and it's helping you with your assignment, please make sure you cite where AI is getting this information. Ask AI to give you where it's getting this information, okay? Because this is very important, because AI can just get information from anywhere, and then it will just use it without acknowledgement of where is it actually coming from. Okay, so I think we also talked about the chain of thoughts and all this. We will not talk about this as well. So these are the 5 components of a high quality prompt. High quality prompt. If you missed out a bit on some of the things I was talking about, there will always be a recorded class that you can actually go and watch later. So these are the things that will make you a great prompt engineer. If you are into AI and you want to create quality and the best output ever from an AI model, these are the best component. I'll also add number 6 of high quality prompt engineering skills that you need. These are the components. So the first one I talked about, the role and persona. This one, there's no negotiation. The second one is task and instruction. So if you wanted to create or generate an image, that is an instruction. If you wanted to design a database schema, that is an instruction. If you wanted to answer a question, that is also an instruction, which is to answer. So this one is very important. If you just paste something and then you do not tell AI what is going to do with the things, you won't get the best results. If you just take an image, then you send it to AI, you not give it any instruction, my friend, there's nothing coming out, nothing really good. Even I think AI will even ask you, what do you want me to do with the image? And then the third one is context, which is giving AI as much information as possible. Just like I was talking about. If you ask AI about the problems that African governments are facing in Namibia, are facing in the world, let me say African countries are facing, it will be more general. So you can give it information about, you can ask it more, let me say the context, you must ask it more specific. If you are saying African countries, in which year? If you are saying African countries, which African countries? Southern African countries? Or East African countries? If you're asking African countries, is it developing African countries? So you must be very specific. And then when you're asking about, when you're being descriptive, you must give a lot of information. Like if you are saying in 2020, this is the year, and then if you are, let me say, if you are supposed to, let me just, if you ask AI, but you did not describe the year, some AI models, they have data that were trained. I think the database that it were trained in, it might be not up to date with what you are asking. So it might be trained, the database, maybe it was trained up to 2022. That is the only information it has access to, the only data. So if you didn't give it which year, you are stuck in 2022. You get information that is not accurate. So some AI will even give you the president, doesn't even know who's the current president of Namibia. So it will give you information in what it was trained. It will give you maybe our late Hage Geingob, because in that is the year, the latest database that it was trained in. So you must give it as much as information as possible, so it understands what you are actually looking for. So the format, I talked about the format as well, which can be an image, it can be a code, it can be data, it can be in form of JSONs and all sort of things. It can be Python codes, it can be in the form of a video, and so on. So we have something that we called constraints. So I did not talk about constraints, but constraints and ethics, I think I talked about ethics as well, but constraints is actually you constraining the AI from doing what you don't want it to do. So if you're asking it to write an essay, you have to constrain it and say, you AI, only 200 words. Only 200 words. Don't go above 200 words. So you are constraining it. If you say 500 words, either it's going to start hallucinating or writing monologue or a lot of boring stuff. The goal is to reach 500 words. 500 words. So you have to make sure you give it a lot of context for it to reach that 500 words. If you don't have enough context, it will start to it will hallucinate. It will write a lot of, it will be biased. Let me just say it will be biased. So it will start writing repetitions of things and all sort of things. So you must give it a lot of context. So there are a lot of things you can do with constraints. You can say avoid using such things, or avoid using American English, or avoid using too many repetitions of. You can constrain it a lot of things. You can constrain an AI. You can just limit it from doing what you don't want it to do. So avoid stereotyping, avoid racism statements and all that. It's very important. So ethics, I think ethics, we already talked about ethics. So we can move on, this is just an assignment, but I think we can move on to the more practical stuff as well. So let's start practicing. Let's start to create something using this prompt engineering skill. But for now, I want to ask questions. Are we together? Katile, are you there? Katile, are
Yes,
you
I'm
there?
here. Yes, I'm here.
Yes. So any question, do you really understand everything? So if you have any specific question, please let me know. So you understand what is prompt engineering? Katile, are you there? She looks busy. So let's move on to the prompting side of things. So we are going to create a prompt in Gemini, and we are going to use all these 5 components that we talked about, which is the role, the instruction, the context, the format, and constraints and ethics. So we are going to ask Gemini to create an image. So this image will have a persona. Okay, it will have a persona. So it will also have a context, and the format it should be in let me say JPEG, which is an image. The output should be an image. So first we are going to give it one shot. Create an image. We're using Nano Banana, which is our AI model. So we're going to create an image, and this image we are not going to use any of these 5 components, and then we compare the results of us using all these 5 components. So what we are going to do is we are going to do 0 shot, but we are going to be little and not descriptive. So we are going to start with 0 shot. So we're not going to give any example, just a description. So whatever outcome we are going to get is from the data that this AI was trained into. So let's look for a really good example of an image we can create. So let's ask it to create a Namibian flag on the rocks. In the desert. Or let me just say the white lady painting. So we ask it to create an image of the white lady painting art on the rocks. So we're gonna say in Namibia. I think that is in white lady painting. It's actually an art in Brandenburg, white lady painting, which I think is it should be part of this heritage. What is this heritage? I think it's a heritage site, but should be part of. Don't think it was recognized. I'm not sure. So I'll just share the image with you guys. So this is what we want to create. This picture is the one we want to create. It's called the White Lady. The White Lady the Bretton Bank is famous for. It's actually a painting of, I think it's an ancient, I think these are the Sun people. So we want AI to be able to generate this image, okay? Because maybe we want to use it for some other project. So what we do is we're in Gemini. First, we are starting with zero prompt. We're actually somebody that doesn't have any idea of how AI works. So what we are going to do is just from here, we are already done. Create an image of the white lady painting art on the rocks in Namibia. And then we give it a go. So wait for Nana Banana to create an image. And not surprisingly, the image that it created is very shocking. So it created an image of a white lady painting on the rocks. So it created because he's never trained on information about the white lady's painting and all that. So what they would do is just create an image of a white lady, which is already racist when you say a white lady painting. So they say white lady painting. It's not exactly what we wanted to do because our lack of prompt engineering. So this is very wrong. So we didn't get the best results. So let's start a new chart. Let's now use our AI and prompt engineering skills. Okay. So we are going to give this, the first is the role. So we are going to talk about the role. So the role of the person creating this image, person generating this image, it should be a graphic designer. So we ask it to act as an expert in graphic design. We gave it a persona. So the person designing this should be an expert. This is a persona. And then what we actually going to do is give it instruction. So recreate the famous white lady painting in Drakensberg in Namibia. So we gave it information about where it's actually located. And then we give it a bit of context. So context, you can do a lot, but in our context, what we are going to do is we are creating an image. So what we're actually going to do is actually download the image and then we upload it. So we download the image. So I downloaded the image. So I'm going to upload the image, which is going to be used for context. So this is the image. Hope you can see the image here. It's loading. So this is the image that I'm adding for context. This is the image of the white lady, famous white lady in Drakensberg. So what else do we have to give it? So we give it background information. I think we can also give it background information. So background information is actually, we can say it's the white lady is a rock painting located on a panel, which also displays. Let me just go straight to the point. Okay. Yeah, that was the first prompt. The basic prompt. They are very funny. So we'll go to, I think, Wikipedia to find a bit context about it. So I got some really interesting background information. So they're saying the White Lady, which is an archaeological site, is located close to the road of Corihas to Hendisbal in the area of Oos. And the Breitenberg itself hosts over 1,000 Bushmen paintings scattered across rock shells and caves. The White Men's Group is founded in Cave of what and all that. So we have some background information. So the rock panel measuring 5.5 meter is the most detailed human figure in the group and measures about 39.5 centimeters and all that. So more information is saying that the painting shows some sort of ritual dance. So I'm going to copy most of this. And it was made using manganese, hematite, and the blood of serum, egg whites, and a lot of information here. So I'm gonna give it this information. I'm getting it from Wikipedia, so I don't think you can see what I'm doing, but I'm going to put it here. So what I actually copied is started from here. From here, the white ladies. This is all coming. This is all context that I'm giving it. So what we want to achieve is actually to recreate the famous white lady painting. Make it modern. Let me just say make it modern art, into modern art. That's what we want to achieve, because this looks a bit old. And then from here, since we have the context, we have to go to the format. What do you want? So we use the output. You can also specify, but most of the time when you say as an expert, recreate the famous. Okay, yeah, you can say the output be an image. And then from there, and we go to constraints. So we constrain it to use same colors from the original painting. So when it comes to if I don't think we need it here. I don't think we need it here. So we should be good. So we are going to run this and see and compare the difference with the one that we just did without using these 5 components. So AI is going to think. So we should wait. So that was fast. So I'm going to show you what it created. So it created something similar, but it was able to add an oryx, which if I ask it not to, it couldn't have added it. So let's see how does it differ from the one I provided. So the one I provided was a bit, I think it's a bit the same, but it was able to add, I think the way the Koreans or whatever they were living, which is I think hunting or something. And then I think it took the Namibian, I think this is an oryx, which is I think it's the one that we use for, I think it's a mascot, it's a car of our nation, which actually put here, which I think should represent hunting or something. But we got something very close to what we wanted. Then, for example, if you look at something like this, if you look at something like this white lady just in the desert painting, so we gave it a lot of context, but we are not done. So what we'll do is, remember, this is Gemini, so it's an AI model. So we go to a different AI model and try something that we call Grok. I think they also have an image generating model. And then also open ChatGPT, your favorite one, the one you use first about AI. And then here we open, what else we need to open? Does Llama of Queen, is Queen accessible? Yes, I think it's accessible. And then we can open, let's see, we should be able to run, I think this one of quick. So I need to run it locally. Okay, I think these are enough. So what we'll do is we take the first prompt and try this into Croc. The first prompt, remember the one we didn't use, and see how this differs as well. The one that we didn't use a lot of context, just paste it. So let me just share the whole tab. Can you see? Is it fine? You can see ChatGPT, and then we paste it here as well. Then I think here we need to select image. So we are going to run it in Croc. Just confirm I'm alt. I think it should be done. We run it in ChatGPT and then we also run it in Queen. You can see Croc did a decent job. And I don't know where this white thing is coming from, this white rock. It never existed. I think Croc did something that is a bit more realistic in my opinion, even though it's nowhere near what you're asking it. And GPT actually tried, but there's still a white lady, still racist, in my opinion. There's still a white lady actually painting something that is supposed to just put there. And then I think we didn't run this, did we? I think we did run. I think we did run this. And this one is taking long. We just gonna skip this and run. And let's see what Queen will be able to generate. So if, for those of you who don't know what is Queen, actually Queen is actually an AI model. It's an LLM from Alibaba. If you ever bought something from Alibaba, yes, this is the company that is also into AI. So this one is not fast, but it's actually going maybe to Google to go check a lot of things. Since it already checked, you don't have a lot of context. So I'm not sure if it's going to generate an image. So it's telling me where to find the image. So definitely doesn't have to do with images. Yes, some LLM might not output images. So you must get take note of that. Some they have an image generating model, but they don't have it here. So now we move on to the second prompt. This time around, we are going to use this prompt that has a lot of context. So Gemini did this. So we open a new chat with Chrome. Then we put this prompt. It's long prompt. Then we attach, remember we attach the image. Then we do the same to ChatGPT. Open a new chat. Paste our long prompt. And then we attach the image. So the image is also part of the context, so that it understands who we are actually talking about. Because some of these ones, they don't know. They don't know about this. So we start running Croc. So let's run Croc. Now we have all the context we have given Croc, so it should be able to do good. So we run ChatGPT. So ChatGPT is analyzing the image as well, which is actually good. Let's see what Croc has created, which is actually good. It's actually good. I don't know what is this one. Let me see. When I start previewing, so it's asking me to put, when I say modern, I mean like vibrant urban backdrop. Yes. So we'll see what that one. So yeah, but what I wanted is actually the first one. So this one's totally not the one. So let me see which one this one as well. So this one is just like this. It's done creating Play. So let's look at ChatGPT. I think ChatGPT actually created something that I like. So if I say modern, like mostly what's happening. So it understood in Namibia we drink a lot of alcohol. So instead of flowers, it gave this white lady, it gave it a bottle of wine. And I'm seeing like people are burning the forest or something. People are not hunting or something. Yeah, but this is the best one so far. Yeah, it didn't change the theme, like the colors and everything still remain the same. I think this one is the best one. I don't know about you guys, but if you compare it to the one we did, where it can even show a lady, a white lady, instead of showing these ones, you can see why you need prompt engineering. So you need to give it a lot of context. You need to make it understand. So you need to make it understand what you actually want it to do. Okay. So far, I want to hear any questions. Let me ask Katile if you are there. Katile, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, you are following.
Yes, I'm following you. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you so much. So yes, we have used all the 5 components, and then we saw the difference you can make. You saw the difference this can make. And I believe for me, I would choose the one that was created with ChatGPT. Okay. So there are a lot of scenarios where you can actually use this prompt engineering skills. Then if you look at this one is actually, the one we used is actually called Zero Shot. Because actually this doesn't need to have tasks as well. If we use a different one, for example, let me just say, if we could have used chain of thoughts, we haven't applied chain of thoughts here because chain of thoughts is actually just for you to have steps for the AI to work on first. So if you are, for example, creating a platform or something, you might need to have chain of thoughts. So we are solving a mathematic equation or something, can give AI a chain of thoughts. But here we used both role playing, which we actually gave our designer, which is an expert in graphic design, and then we also gave it what we call the instruction, and then we gave it a lot of big context. Excuse me. We gave it a lot of big context. Okay. From here, let's just look at the summaries that I wanted to bring into your mind. So what I want us to know is about the types of prompting. So this one that I used to prompt, it was actually, I would say it was actually role playing because it has somebody who is acting, and then it also had it also had a zero shot, which is just a description of what is going on, and then it was also involving structured out there. From there, that was the end of our class. So for now, we can do a bit more practice or anything that is related to what we are doing. If you have any question, anything you want us to do, please let us know so we can discuss it more. So we have reached to our discussion time now. So I want everyone to have a question or anything that they want to bring it up. So we discuss it right now. Yes, Rebecca, are you there? Chris, it's like Rebecca is not.
I'm here. I have no question
You have
for
no
now.
question.
Yes.
So you understand everything very well.
Yes. I'll maybe have questions later when I'm trying to do it and they're
The
not
question
working out.
based on.
I'm saying maybe when I'm going to do practical later
Mm-hmm.
today, yes,
Mm-hmm.
I
Oh,
might
then
have questions in the next class.
okay, all right. Otherwise, if there are no questions, we can play around a bit with just for me to give you an insight of the platforms you can use. So let me just break down this platform that we've used. So with Gemini, you can create an image and canvas and also create music, but you just set to prompt. And with Grok, you can actually create a video. So let's see what video it will create here. Let's just see, which is actually new to me. So I'm going to share my screen now. Hope you can see it. So we can make a video, but I'm not sure if we can make a video here. So I think we need to sign in for us to make a video. So let's just upload our image. So we are just going to do a zero shot, create a video of this app. Let's see if it will be able to create a video. Guys, we are actually using Grok. This is Grok. It's also an AI model. Think it's supposed to have a video. So yeah, let's see what kind of video it will be able to generate. So yeah, generating a video. Let's see if ChatGPT can be able to do the same. So generate a video of this art. Okay. So we do the same with Gemini. Create a video of this art. I think, oh Jesus. So this is Grok image engine, which was able to animate this. I think it's instead of coming alive, it's just like somebody just felt like fall from, I think from, just fell on the rocks and then later stood up and then took his bow and arrow and shoot. And then it's supposed to be a lady. It's already a white lady we are talking about here. So it's understandable. Let's look at Gemini. Gemini won't even do any, doesn't play around with videos. So I won't. I think with Queen, just me not using it well. So yeah, let's try Queen. I think you can generate an image. Okay, so we take the prompt. Let's see if Queen will be able to do it better. So for us to create a video with Gemini, we needed to upgrade and pay them. Just one video. Just for us to make one video, we need to pay Gemini. And then for those who are curious and want to learn more about the image generation, the videos and all that, you can look at OpenArt. So this is where the platform where you find all the models, be it Gemini, any models for videos and all that. And then if you are looking into documents, please use Cloud AI. It will be the one to generate documents for you. And if you are coding, Cloud AI model is the one you can also choose. It's the best.